written by Paul Tassi over there. Redfall reviews are here, and they are a bloodbath. This game releases tomorrow as a recording. It'll be yesterday as whenever you guys get the episode on Wednesday. While Redfall isn't the biggest game Microsoft has in the work, it is an important one. A AAA title from Arcane, beloved developer of Dishonored, Prey, and Deathloop, fan favorites, or even the occasional Game of the Year contender. Redfall was their chance to jump into several new genres: co-op, looter, open world, and vampires? How did that go? Badly. Very badly. Review scores are coming in for Redfall, and they aren't just middling, they're poor. For a game of this size from a studio that normally produces solid hits, it's wild to see Redfall arriving with a 63 on Metacritic and a 64 on OpenCritic. Let me see if that's up to date. Let me look at the new. It's down to a 62 now on Metacritic, and it's up to a 66 on OpenCritic. So it's gone up 2 points over there, but it's down 2 points on Metacritic. This is far lower than anything Arcane has done in recent years. Prey at an 82, Dishonored 1 and 2 at a 91 and an 88, Deathloop with an 89. While there were at least some concerns about this dramatic new direction for Arcane with Redfall, this is close to a worst case scenario. Other critics are saying this year, GameSpot gave it a 4 out of 10. Arcane takes a stab at infusing the genre du jour with its signature style, but the end results are a bloody mess. Games Radar gave it a 5 out of 10. Redfall is ultimately not up to Arcane's usual standards, and it feels rushed, unfinished, unsatisfying to play. IGN has an unscored review in progress because they got the game so last minute, they just haven't had enough time to put into it for them to feel comfortable giving a score yet. I must admit, I'm thoroughly underwhelmed by Redfall's vanilla missions and lifeless world, and very disappointed at its lengthy list of display issues and bugs. There are a few 7s, 8s, and an 8.5 or 2 scattered in there, but this is pulling more 4s, 5s, and 6s, even from major outlets, than any game would be remotely comfortable with. The article here on Forbes goes on and on, but we get the point. Redfall really is not delivering. And Adrian, do you think this is indicative of like an issue just within Arcane? Do you think this is something like bigger with Microsoft in general? And should we be worried? I think you tweeted about this. Should we be worried about Starfield at this point?
So this is an interesting case because I think it's tough to pin it on one specific party, right? On one hand, you could say this might be an Arcane doing, it might be them on their own, because this is so out of their wheelhouse, I think. Granted, they've made a lot of first-person games before, but, a 4-player online multiplayer shooter is a big departure for them. So I could see many avenues where that could go wrong, and if that's just the case, that they were out of their depth and it didn't work out, hey, they're not the first to the first studio with a good track record to make a subpar game. They're not going to be the last. They're just going to have to take those lumps. But it could also be Microsoft who could possibly be at fault, because with them being spread so thin between not only their own internal studios, but all the studios within Bethesda that they're supporting, and now trying to, with all their attention diverted with this Activision Blizzard, what would have been deal.
Yeah.
If Arcane needed support on things, it may have been tough for them to actually reach out to Microsoft and get constant high quality support that they needed. And if that was the case and they couldn't get it, and Microsoft said, well, we got to have something on the shelf, send it out, then that's on Microsoft. And if that's the case, that's very unfortunate for Arcane. So it's like I was saying, we were talking before the show, we unfortunately probably won't know who exactly is the cause of Redfall being in the state it's in, unless somebody like a Jason Schreier goes in and tries to figure out what went wrong with this game. All that we know right now is that it didn't deliver, and it is the newest in a long line since the Xbox One days of Xbox first party titles that on a majority basis are not delivering. So
yeah, I don't know. I know technically it wasn't an Xbox joint, but it just makes me worry, like, oh man, is this another situation where maybe they were just rushed, kind of like a Cyberpunk situation, like maybe they just needed more time, but it's like Xbox is like, we don't have anything coming out for the next 2 years, just push it out, we got to get it out there. Or was it just like you said, like, no, it was an internal Arcane thing and they were just, so out of their pocket, they were just having a hard time with it. Like, I don't know. Yeah, only time will tell. Maybe we'll never know. But if it's an Arcane issue, like, it's unfortunate and it's sad, but at least it's localized. But the biggest worry is, when you like touching on the whole like distraction, the very like it very obviously a distraction, the whole Activision Blizzard deal that's been going on the last year, and some change. If that was part of the reason this game is bad, that is worrisome for other properties coming out, for especially like Starfield and well, that's the only other game we know of, right? That we haven't really heard about any other game coming from Xbox at this point.
But they even have their hands full with just Bethesda, like I was saying. So
yeah,
and they got their own internal studios, so they are already could have been stretched thin with just that. But not like I was saying, you drop an Activision on top of that, which imagine if that would have actually gone through.
Yeah. There's just a lot. They're just trying to spin too many plates at once, and it's catching up to them. Like, they're starting to fall and break, and it's unfortunate.
Right.
Yeah, it's sad. It really is sad. And I mean, because I imagine this is coming to Game Pass, so I'm sure I'll fire it up and give it a shot because it's free. Might as well.
Let me know.
But I don't necessarily see myself putting too much time in it. From what I'm hearing, I'm like, oh, this is exactly like the things that people are saying are good about the game. Like, oh yeah, because there are, like, even the people giving it like a 4 or 5, they're like, there are things that are good about it. It's just overall bad. The things that are saying are good are things that just I don't care about, or that I generally find boring about that genre of game. I'm like, oh, you're saying they're doing it well, but that thing they're doing well is the thing that I don't care about in shooters, like looter shooters and stuff like that, like Destiny or Borderlands and stuff like that, where, like, those types of games grab me for a short amount of time, and then I just get bored of that same wash, rinse, repeat. So it's like, all right, they're doing this thing good that I don't care about. So it's a bummer. It's sad. This game, I remember seeing trailers when they first announced it. I think we have video footage of it. You could probably go back and watch.
Yeah.
The first trailer of, because it was at Summer Game Fest at the Xbox thing, like when they showed a trailer, like me being like, oh my gosh, this looks so awesome. Like, I'm so down. Highlight, like, I think. Yeah, like, we were stoked about this game. I was stoked about this game. And then to like, get these reviews coming out, and just, even early previews were not looking great. It's like, oh man, such a bummer. Like, this super high and just to be let down. And even before the show, we were talking about, like, man, a couple years ago, like, me and JJ and, like, we were coming around. Like, I was a big time Sony pony, and I, obviously being the influence on JJ, he was a big Sony pony. But like a couple years ago, there was a point where, like, we were both like, no way, like, Xbox is the way to go. Like, Game Pass is awesome. Like, their games are putting out are killer, and like the future they have envisioned is fantastic. And we bought into that. And then here we are, like, a couple years later, it's like, wow.
They were in such a good place to turn it around right before the series consoles dropped, dude. Like, they had everything lined up. They had all the software getting ready to go. To this day, I will go to the mat and say that of the two major consoles, I do think the Series X is the better of the two, as far as hardware design and execution. And I'm not saying that to disparage PS5. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think as far as hardware is concerned, Xbox is the more well executed of the two consoles.
Yeah. Interestingly, I have a Selkies is in the chat, and he is saying that I just finished playing it. I've been having a wonderful time with it. Me and a friend had a wonderful time. Slight adjustments to controls. Other than that, it's been good. Quirky, fun gameplay, and enemies feel tough but not overwhelming. That's
Is he
interesting.
the one person that got through it without all the issues and bugs?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious, because I mean, granted, I'm sure there's a massive day one patch. Like a lot of these reviewers think about it, like they played it yesterday, today and yesterday, basically, with no day one patch, so they would have been having a lot of issues. But yeah, I'm curious, Selkie, though, like how much time you put into it, and then and once you do put more time into it, what your thoughts are then, because that's what we're hearing from the reviews is not only is it buggy and janky, but there's just no substance. Like it just the first few hours felt fine, and then it's like, oh, this is the whole game. This is the same thing over and over again. So I'd be curious what you're tune in next week and let us know, like, hey, update on Redfall. It sucks, or maybe it's great, but I don't know. And again, like with any video game, with anything, to each their own. Everyone's gonna have their own opinion. Like games that are my game to someone else they would think are complete trash, and vice versa. So it's like I totally get, like, some people are gonna play this and be like, holy crap, this game is a 10 out of 10 and lose their minds. But for me, yeah, reading the reviews and hearing like I said a minute ago, the things that the reviews are saying they're doing well are all things that I could care less about in a game. It's like, oh, okay, well, those are the things I don't care about. So yeah. So Selkie says, sure, I'd be glad to do a review for you guys. So hey, Selkie,
Absolutely.
are you free next Monday at 7:30? You can join us right here on the episode. I don't think we've ever been on a main show, so maybe let's do it. I've been wanting to have the Selkies on for like years, so maybe go ahead, play some more Redfall, and we'll have you back here next week. Maybe
posted.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Maybe I'll hit you up after the show here on Discord, and we'll nail things down. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.